Hey there friends, what's going on? David Potts here with Song Notes, and today we're looking at Back in Black, the AC/DC classic. I'm going to show you an acoustic way to play this song. This one's going out to Joe. Joe, thanks for your membership on my Song Notes website. You requested this one, and I hope you find it helpful. So looking at this, right, we have an intro and verse section. I'm going to show you this sort of full version that I have here, and then a slightly simplified one. The simplified version is going to round some of the corners, especially on these riffs, right? Riff 1, Riff 2, the power chords we use here in the refrain, and some of the strumming at the end of the refrain, right? I just want to come up with something super simple to get you in the door, right? I'm going to make this an acoustic-friendly version for us mere mortals who are trying to high-five the guitar gods who gave us this song. So let's get into it and learn this one, all right? So this first riff here, intro and verse riff, this is the first line. The second line also starts like this. We have this E to a D to an A, and then we have the riff. Right? I fumbled the riff there. Don't worry about that just yet. I want to talk about the rhythm of this intro and verse part, right? You can start off strumming the full chords, right? Your E, your D, and your A, but it's when we strum, and it's also how we silence the strings after we strum that matters, okay? There's a couple things at play. The X's you see on the fret lines, that means we're going to just move our strumming hand, sort of the side here of our fleshy part of our palm, into the strings to silence the strings. Just get used to that, right? Go through your D, your E, your A chord, and just practice strumming them and then silencing them so it kind of gives this punctuated sound, right? We don't want it ringing out, right? So the main idea here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Forget the riff for now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The first thing I recommend doing is just practicing that, or at least one of your practice exercises for your first day of practice is do a few minutes without the riff. Just go through those chords, strum on those exact beats, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's going to be an important part of getting the overall groove to this, right? And again, those X's are going to happen on the and count, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. It's going to go a long way into making this sound like the AC/DC recording. And this will come a bit more natural to you as you practice it more and more and more. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to practice is just those chords, the strumming, the rhythm, and silencing those strings to really punctuate that sound, right? One thing about the strumming I'll quickly say is when AC/DC is playing this, I'm pretty sure they're doing a down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Okay, that down, up, down. I do not like playing it that way. I just find on an acoustic guitar, at least, it kind of makes it too, it loses the groove for me. I like to do just down strums. I have tabbed it out, though, in my practice notes, the down, up, down timing, right? 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3. You can do it that way if you want. I like to do all down strums. I just wanted to make that clear because pretty much everyone else who I've seen teach this song does the down, up, down. You can do it that way if you want. That's how AC/DC plays it. But again, I think it is worthwhile in certain cases deviating from what the artist does in a way that sounds better for an acoustic guitar. So that's kind of what I prefer to do is all down strums. It keeps it simple and it sounds good with less dynamic work there. All right, but let's look at riff number 1 here. I'm going to show you a few different ways to play this. The simplest way to do it is going to be, okay, that's the more appropriate version. So we're going to play this riff. We're going to end riff 1 by strumming the E chord. Okay, but the notes themselves in the simple version are on the thinnest string from 3rd to open, same on the 2nd string, and then on the 3rd string we're going to go from 3rd to 2nd to open. Okay, and then after that open G string, give the E chord a strum, because that's always what we're going to do when we play it. This riff goes right into the E chord, so you want to practice it in that way as well. Now, the timing here is really important. If you're counting 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, I fumbled a note there, but the thing I'm trying to show you here is you do not come in on the 3 count. You come in on the 16th note just after the 3 count, right? If you want to count like with 16th notes like a madman who is effective at learning songs, right? It's worth learning, right? 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3. Okay, that is the exercise you want to do. Is just practice counting, and then just after the 3 count, the riff starts. Now, and the thing I like to do as well is start this riff with an up strum, and then you're going to want to use all alternate directional picking, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And what that does is it sets up that final down for an E major strum to kick off line 2, right? So the first line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, now let me see here. What should I show you? Let's look at riff number 1, the trickier way to play it, right? And this is something you can aspire to lead up to. This is what AC/DC is doing, as I understand. Okay, the only real difference here is on that 2nd fret note of the 3rd string. It's really the first note we play in the riff on the 3rd string. Instead of doing the 3rd fret, we're going to do, right, we're going to take that 2nd fret note, bend it up, and then release the bend so it goes up, it comes down, right? It's really tricky because it's so close to the nut here. It's really hard to bend this effectively, so your mileage may vary. If this is trouble for you, just do the easier version. Okay, that'll work. But if you want to bend it, right? Bend it up, bring it back down to the 2, and then pull off. You get that open 3rd string, right? Much trickier to do. It takes practice, but here's what it would sound like, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay? That is something you can bake into your practice, but start off with that simpler version. The other thing I'll talk about here in line 1 is you see in the full version, I have it tabbed out as power chords, right? So for the E and for the D and the A, this is something you can try. You don't have to do it like this, but it's going to basically just do the thickest 3 strings of each chord. And it's okay if you happen to get some of the thinner strings, but try to focus your strum on those thicker strings, right? And again, I would recommend fretting the full chords, just kind of sort of focus your strum on those thickest strings. What it's going to do is keep the chords kind of rich and deep, right? We don't want the bright major thirds to shine out, right? If we strum them like that, it's not going to have the real rocky sound we want, right? So. Okay, and if power chords are something you need help with, check out my lesson. I just made this over on my members-only course on my website. It gives you an overview of power chords, shows you a few different ways to play the most common power chords, a lot of need-to-know stuff, and that's available along with all my other members-only courses and little sheets there to help you out. I have tons of good stuff right there. I'll link it over on my lesson page and in the YouTube description here, okay? So that's line 1. Let's look at line 2. The good part is it starts the exact same way, so what we already learned will work. The only difference here is going to be riff 2. Actually, let me show you how AC/DC plays it. They're a bunch of madmen, if I may say so myself. They're going to go 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, 2-7, okay? From the 5th to 6th string. This is something I've never been able to play smoothly. That slide up to 7 they're doing, it's kind of crazy to me, right? So the simplest way to do it would be this. This is the same note. It's just going to sort of play them on easier strings. 2nd fret to 4th fret on the 5th and 6th strings, right? That's the hardest part. Then we're going to do 2nd fret to open on the 5th string, 2nd fret to 1st fret on the 5th string, and then 2nd fret twice on the 5th string, okay? So that would sound like this. And in context, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And this riff is going to start on the 2 count, right? On the 2 count on the nose, unlike riff 1, which starts just after the 3 count. Okay, so the simplest version. Okay, now if you want to level it up a little bit and kind of meet things halfway to where AC/DC is, you can do this. Okay, 2nd fret to 4th fret, just the same. 2nd fret to 5th fret, this is the hardest it's going to get. Then we do 2nd fret to 1st fret, and then 2nd fret to 2nd fret. And when you do 2nd fret to 2nd fret, you can do a... I'm kind of hammering on that 2nd fret on the second strum. It's just a nice way to give it a little bit of dynamics, right? That sounds pretty cool, okay? All right, so line 1 and line 2 together would sound like this, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And you do it again. Okay, I have playthroughs of both of these over my website with tabs, no talking, so you can reference them. But let's move on to the refrain now and get this one home. Here's what it looks like, right? It's all strummy kind of power chords here, right? There's no real like fast riffing, which is good, but the rhythm is really tricky. So on the left half here, you see this A5 and this E5 and B5 and A5. That just means it's a power chord. These are all power chords, A to E to B to A to B. Now again, see my power chord lesson that I mentioned if you want to really understand what power chords are. The short answer is you take your root note, in this case A, and you add a perfect fifth above it. And those are the only notes you're playing, A and E, okay? Because E is the fifth above A. So that's why it's A5. It's neither major nor minor. It does not have a major third. It does not have a minor third. There's no third in this chord. Okay, that makes it a power chord. Not major, not minor. It's just a power chord. So we have that for A, 2-string version. We go to E, and then we go to B. This is going to be the trickiest one because you have to get 2 fingers there, right? 2nd fret, 4th fret. Then you have to go back to A and back to B. So in full, okay, that's the left half there. The rhythm is what makes this really tricky because check this out. You're coming in on the 1 and count, first of all, right? The and count between the 1 and the 2. And then you're gonna, every 3/16 notes is when you strum. So it's really kind of off the beat. It's like against it. It's in little gaps, right? One E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. And a 4 E and a. I would not recommend counting like that when you play unless you're able to, right? It's going to be difficult to do, but that's how you have to sort of space this out, okay? This one's going to go from a G chord to a D to an A. But instead of doing it in a very kind of like breezy country rock way, I'm not going to do that, right? We're doing... Okay, this is power chord-ish. The G is a power chord, technically. Okay, this is all roots and fifths. There's no major or minor third in here because we're not strumming any Bs, right? Now for the D, this is a D power chord as well, technically, because there's no major third. There's no F sharp, right? So keep your ring finger there from the G to the D. And then for the A, I'm gonna do the A 3-string power chord here. And then we're gonna move our middle finger to the 3rd fret of the 6th string. This is the flat 3rd of A. And then back to a regular A. So, part 2, same rhythm. Right? If we did the left half into the right half, it would sound like this. I'm gonna do each of them twice, right? Okay, and then really quick, let me go to line 2 of the intro. This is going to be a G, all on corner notes, and then 3 strums of D, right? Well, I'm back. Well, I'm back in black. I always sound major when I sing this song. I think I need to get more minor. But anyway, the Ds are all strummed on those same 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, right? It's not following the same rhythm as earlier in the refrain, okay? So that's how you do the refrain. Now, if you want to spice things up a little bit, the couple things you can do are for the refrain line 1, you can use the 3-string power chords if you want. Trickier to do, but it sounds more full. It's up to you. Give it a try. And in the right half of this line 1 here, that little 3rd fret note you hit between the A's, you can give that a little curl, a little bend if you want. That's your little level up here if you want to do it. Okay, kind of matches what you hear in the album a little bit. Give it a listen, you'll hear. And then in line 2 of the refrain, if you want, you can add some filler strums over the G. Whoop, let me do the power chord G. silence the strings on the 4 count, right? So the whole riff. All right, y'all, so that's going to do it for this lesson, right? This is our first steps with this song. This will give you plenty to get started with. The first minute and 50 seconds of this song uses everything I taught you so far. Be sure to check out my website because I have some audio drum tracks that match the vibe of what you hear in the AC/DC recording, and they're great to play over. And I have them at different speeds. They're right there on my lesson webpage. You can just play them, practice with my notes, and it's going to be really handy for you to do it. So I'll see you on the other side, y'all. Get the stuff over at my website, songnotes.net, and check out my other lessons as well. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.